One woman wanted to sell him, and the other wanted to keep him like a pet. Both of them are going to be very sorry. Andre was quiet while they played their mean games, but he just made a move that would leave them with nothing. Stay until the end to see the secret he was hiding in his pocket. In the polished halls of Silver City's most famous fashion house, a young man named Andre works as a professional cleaner. He is a man of dignity, but he is struggling to make ends meet. On this particular morning, the office is tense because the new executive, Madame Vera, is arriving to take command. Andre is focused on his task, carefully buffing the marble floors. He is moving a heavy professional-grade water station through the lobby, trying to clear the area before the morning meeting begins. As Andre maneuvers the heavy equipment around a sharp glass-walled corner, he doesn't see Madame Vera walking fast while looking at her phone. They collide with a heavy thud. The clean water from the top of the station sloshes out, soaking Madame Vera's expensive silk suit and her leather briefcase. Andre's heart stops. He immediately reaches out to help, grabbing clean napkins, but the look on Madame Vera's face is enough to freeze him in place. She is not just wet, she is insulted that someone below her has touched her. The lobby goes silent as Madame Vera's anger boils over. She doesn't listen to Andre's polite apology or his explanation that she turned into his path. She screams at him, calling him a clumsy nobody who has no place in a high-class building. "Do you have any idea what this suit costs? It's worth more than your life," she yells. Without a second thought, she tells the supervisor to fire him immediately, and Andre is escorted out by security, losing his only source of income over a simple accident he couldn't avoid. Andre returns home to his apartment where his partner Lola is waiting. Lola is a woman who dreams of the high life, fast cars, designer bags, and vacations she sees on social media. She doesn't greet Andre with a kiss. Instead, she asks if he finally got the bonus he promised. When Andre sits down and explains that he was fired because of a powerful woman's anger, Lola doesn't show any sympathy. She looks at him with disgust, as if his job loss is a personal attack on her lifestyle. She begins to pace the room, complaining that she is tired of living like a beggar. She tells Andre that she is embarrassed to show him to her friends because he's just a janitor. She points to her phone, showing him pictures of wealthy men buying their girlfriends' gold watches. "I am a beautiful woman, Andre. I deserve a man who can take me to Bali, not a man who gets kicked out of an office," she shouts. Every word she says strips away Andre's confidence, making him feel like he is failing as a man. Lola gives him a cold ultimatum. Find a way to make big money or she's gone. She tells him she's tired of his honest work because it doesn't pay for the luxury she craves. She even mocks him, saying that maybe the boss lady was right to fire him because he isn't aggressive enough to be rich. Andre stays quiet, the weight of her greed pressing down on him. He realizes that Lola doesn't love him for his heart. She only loves the version of him that can pay for her dreams. Andre felt very sad. He did not want to lose his home or his girlfriend Lola, so he decided to go back to the big office to ask for his job one more time. He found the cold boss, Madame Vera, in her room. He knelt on the floor and said, "Please, Madame, I am a good worker. I need this job to buy food." Madame Vera looked at him. At first, she wanted to say no, but then she saw something different. She saw that Andre was very handsome. He had a strong face and a tall body. She told him to stand up and take off his cleaning jacket. When he did, she saw that he looked like a movie star. She had a new idea. She said, "I do not want you to mop floors anymore. My company makes beautiful clothes. I want you to wear them and let people take your picture. I will make you a star." Andre was shocked. He did not know how to be a star, but he said yes. He thought about Lola and the money she wanted. Madame Vera called her helpers and told them to fix Andre's hair and give him expensive suits. Andre looked in the mirror and did not know the man looking back at him. He was not a cleaner anymore. He was the new face of the famous fashion house. Andre started his new work the next day. It was very hard. He had to stand still for a long time while people took hundreds of photos. Madame Vera was always there, watching him with her sharp eyes. She taught him how to walk with pride and how to look at the camera. She was still a very tough boss, but she started to speak to him more kindly. She saw that Andre was not just a handsome face. He was a man with a good heart. When Andre went home, he showed Lola his new clothes and the money he made. Lola's eyes went wide with greed. She did not ask Andre if he was tired or happy. She only grabbed the money and started looking for new bags to buy. She told all her friends, "My man is a famous star now. He's going to be very rich." Andre felt happy that she was smiling, but he felt sad that she only smiled when he had money. The big change in Andre's life made him feel strange. In the office, everyone treated him like a king. At home, Lola treated him like a bank. But Madame Vera treated him like a student she wanted to help. One day, Madame Vera told Andre, "We have to go on a big trip to a faraway city. We need to take photos in a beautiful hotel by the sea." Andre was worried. He knew Lola would be very angry if he went away with his boss. Andre told Lola about the trip to the faraway city. Just like he thought, Lola became very mean. She screamed, "You are going away with that woman. You will forget me." She told him he could not go. Andre was stuck. If he did not go, he would lose his new job. If he did go, Lola would leave him. He did not know that Madame Vera was watching everything from a distance. Madame Vera went to see Lola while Andre was not there. She did not yell at Lola. Instead, she showed Lola a shiny gold expensive watch. She told Lola, "If you tell Andre to go on the trip, this watch is yours and I will give you even more when we get back." Lola did not think twice. She loved the gold more than she loved Andre. She took the watch and hid it in her pocket, smiling a wicked smile. When Andre came home, he was surprised. Lola was very nice. She kissed him and said, "My love, I was wrong. You must go on the trip. It is good for your work. I trust you." Andre was so happy. He thought Lola finally loved him enough to trust him. He packed his bags, feeling lucky to have such a kind girlfriend. He did not know that his boss had bought his girlfriend's permission with gold. Andre and Madame Vera arrived at a very big, beautiful hotel next to the blue sea. The hotel was made of white stone and had flowers everywhere. Andre had never seen such a fancy place. He felt small, but Madame Vera told him to hold his head high. "You belong here now," she said. They were there to take the most important photos for the new magazine. Andre wanted to do a good job so he could keep making money for Lola. When they went to get their keys, the man at the desk had bad news. He said, "I am so sorry, but there was a mistake. We only have one big room left for tonight." Andre felt very nervous. He thought he would have to sleep on the floor or go back home. But Madame Vera looked at him and said it was okay. The room was huge with 2 separate parts. Still, Andre felt strange being so close to his boss in such a beautiful place. That night, they sat on the balcony and watched the moon over the water. Madame Vera was not shouting or being mean. She talked to Andre about her life and how hard she worked to be the boss. She asked Andre about Lola. Andre told her how much he loved Lola and how he wanted to make her happy. Madame Vera looked sad for a moment. She knew the secret about the gold watch, but she did not tell him yet. She wanted Andre to see the truth for himself. The next morning, the sun was bright and hot. It was time to work. Andre had to wear a beautiful white suit and stand on the sand. The cameras went click, click, click all day. Madame Vera was behind the photographer. She told Andre how to move his arms and how to look into the sun. Everyone was tired, but Andre did not stop. He worked harder than any other model because he remembered how it felt to be a poor cleaner. During a break, Madame Vera brought Andre some cold water. She sat next to him on the sand. She told him, "You are a very special man, Andre. You are not like the others who only want fame. You have a kind soul." Andre thanked her. He started to feel like Madame Vera was his friend, not just a scary boss. He felt more comfortable with her than he did with Lola lately. With Lola, they only talked about money. With Madame Vera, they talked about dreams. But then, Andre's phone rang. It was Lola. She did not ask him how the work was going. She only asked, "Did the boss give you any extra money yet? I saw a new car I want to buy." Andre felt a sharp pain in his heart. He looked at the beautiful sea and then at his phone. He started to wonder if Lola even missed him at all. Madame Vera saw the look on his face and knew that the time for the big secret was coming soon. While they were eating dinner, Madame Vera's phone made a loud noise. It was a message from her bank. She accidentally left the phone on the table so Andre could see the screen. Andre saw a picture of a gold watch and a receipt with Lola's name on it. His heart began to beat very fast. He asked, "Madame, why do you have Lola's name on your phone?" Madame Vera sighed and looked at him with sad eyes. She told him everything. She said, "I wanted you to come on this trip because you are the best model, but Lola said no. She only said yes when I gave her a very expensive gold watch. She sold your time to me, Andre." Andre did not want to believe it. He felt like the world was spinning. He thought about Lola's kisses and her smiles before he left. Now he knew those smiles were only because she got a shiny toy. Andre went to his part of the room and sat in the dark. He felt very foolish. He had been working so hard to buy things for a woman who treated him like an object. He realized that the mean boss was the one being honest with him, and the loving girlfriend was the one telling lies. He didn't know what to do next. Should he go home and yell at Lola, or should he stay and finish the work? The man who used to be a cleaner was starting to grow a very strong heart.
The trip was over, and it was time to drive back to the city. Andre sat in the back of the car, looking out the window at the trees passing by. He did not say a word. His heart felt heavy, like a bag of stones. Madame Vera sat next to him. She did not try to force him to talk. She knew that Andre was thinking about Lola and the gold watch. For the first time, Andre realized that money can buy many things, but it cannot buy a heart that truly cares. When they finally reached the tall buildings of the city, Madame Vera touched Andre's hand gently. She said, "You have a choice now, Andre. You can go back to being the man who gives everything away, or you can be the man who stands up for himself." Andre looked at her and nodded. He was not the same shy cleaner who had spilt water on her dress weeks ago. He felt stronger. He thanked her for the truth, even though the truth hurt like a cut. Andre got out of the car and walked toward his apartment. He saw the lights on in the window. He knew Lola was inside, probably looking at her new watch or shopping for more things on her phone. He took a deep breath. He didn't want to scream or cry. He just wanted to see if Lola would tell him the truth or if she would keep telling him lies. He walked up the stairs, ready to face the one he once thought was his everything. When Andre walked through the door, Lola ran to him with a big smile. But she didn't hug him because she missed him. She immediately looked at his hand to see if he was carrying any shopping bags. "You are back," she cried. "Did the boss lady give you a big bonus for the trip? I found a beautiful dress I want for the party tonight." Andre just stood there and watched her. He saw the gold watch on her wrist, shining brightly under the living room light. He pointed to the watch and asked quietly, "That is a very pretty watch, Lola. Where did you get it?" Lola froze for a second, then laughed nervously. She told him a lie. She said, "Oh, this? I saved up some of the money you gave me for food and bought it on sale. Do you like it?" Andre felt a cold chill. He knew exactly how much food cost, and he knew that watch cost more than 6 months of meals. He realized that Lola thought he was too simple to understand her trick. Andre sat down on the old sofa. He told her, "The trip was very beautiful, Lola. The boss told me she was very happy that you let me go." Lola smiled and said, "I only did it because I love you, Andre." Hearing that lie made Andre feel sick. He looked at the woman he had worked so hard for and realized she was just a stranger wearing gold. He didn't tell her that he knew the truth yet. He wanted to see how far she would go with her greed before he made his big move. The next day, a fancy invitation arrived at the apartment. It was for a grand party at the fashion house. Every famous person in the city would be there. Lola was jumping with joy. She screamed, "We have to go. Everyone will see that I am the girlfriend of the famous model." She spent the whole day getting ready, putting on thick makeup and the gold watch Madame Vera had given her. She wanted to look like she belonged with the rich people. Andre put on his best suit provided by the company. He looked like a prince, but his face was very serious. He drove Lola to the big building where he used to mop the floors. As they walked inside, the lights were bright and the music was loud. People were whispering, "Look, that's the new star Andre." Lola held his arm very tight, smiling at everyone like she was the queen of the city. She felt very powerful. In the middle of the room stood Madame Vera. She was wearing a long black dress and looking very elegant. When she saw Andre and Lola walking toward her, she smiled a secret smile. She knew that tonight all the secrets would come out. Lola walked right up to the boss, trying to act like they were best friends. She didn't know that the trap was already set. The music slowed down and the people started to gather around to hear the boss speak. At the party, Lola was acting very proud. She walked up to Madame Vera and said, "Thank you for taking my Andre on the trip. I am such a good girlfriend for letting him go, right?" She was wearing the gold watch and showing it to everyone. She thought she was the smartest person in the room. Madame Vera looked at the watch on Lola's wrist and then looked at Andre. She spoke loudly so everyone could hear. "That is a beautiful watch, Lola," Madame Vera said. "It looks exactly like the one I bought last week. I gave it to a woman who promised to help me with a special deal." Lola's face turned white. She tried to hide her arm behind her, but it was too late. People started to whisper. Andre stepped forward. He didn't look sad anymore. He looked like a man who finally saw the truth clearly. Andre looked at Lola and said, "I know where the watch came from, Lola. I know you sold my time for gold." Lola started to cry and tell more lies. She said she did it for them and for their future, but Andre just shook his head. He realized that while he was cleaning floors and working hard, Lola was only looking for a way to get rich without working at all. The whole room was watching the drama. Madame Vera stepped closer to Andre. She told the crowd, "Andre is the best model I have ever seen. He is kind and honest."
Then she looked at Lola and told her it was time to leave the party. Lola was angry and embarrassed. She shouted at Andre, "You are nothing without me. You will go back to being a poor cleaner." She expected Andre to run after her and beg her to stay, but he didn't move an inch. Lola ran out of the building crying and screaming. Andre stood alone in the center of the room. Madame Vera walked up to him and held his hand. She said, "Now you are free, Andre. You don't have to carry her greed anymore. You can stay with me and we can rule this fashion world together. I can give you everything you ever dreamed of." The music started to play again and it looked like Andre had found a new queen. For a moment, Andre looked at Madame Vera's expensive jewelry and her powerful smile. He thought about how she had helped him, but he also remembered how she used the watch to play a game with his life. He realized that Madame Vera also liked to control people with her money, just like Lola did. He was tired of being a toy for two powerful women. This is where the story starts to change. The next few days were very strange. Andre was more famous than ever. Madame Vera bought him a fast car. She told him what to wear, where to go, and who to talk to. She was much nicer than Lola, but Andre felt like he was still living in a cage. He was a king, but Madame Vera held the keys to his kingdom. He started to think about his life before the bucket of water splashed on the dress. One afternoon, while he was supposed to be at a photo shoot, Andre went back to his old neighborhood. He saw the people working hard, laughing, and living simple lives. He saw a man cleaning the windows of a small shop. The man looked tired, but he looked happy because he was his own boss. Andre looked at his expensive watch and his fancy shoot. He realized that he had traded his freedom for shiny things twice. He went back to the office and found Madame Vera. She was busy planning his next big trip. She didn't even look up when he walked in. She just said, "Andre, sign these papers. I have bought you a new house." Andre picked up the pen, but he didn't sign the papers. He looked at the woman who had saved him and realized he needed to save himself. He had a secret plan that no one knew about. Andre lived in the beautiful apartment Madame Vera bought for him, but he felt like a bird in a cage. Every day, Madame Vera told him how to act and what to say. She told him, "I made you a star, so you must do what I say." Andre realized that Madame Vera didn't just want a model, she wanted a puppet. Even though he had more money than ever, he missed the feeling of being free. He missed being the man who worked for himself. He began to save his own money in secret. Every time he got paid for a photo, he put a little away when no one could see it. He started to study how the business worked. He watched how the clothes were made and how the shops were run. While Madame Vera thought he was just a handsome face, Andre was becoming very smart. He was learning how to be a boss so that he would never have to mop floors or follow orders again. One night, Lola came to his door. She was crying and looked very poor. She had lost her gold watch and had no money left. She begged him to take her back. She said, "I'm sorry I was greedy. Let's be together again now that you are rich." Andre looked at her and felt nothing. He saw that she still didn't love him. She only loved his new life. He realized that both Lola and Vera were looking at his wallet, not his heart. The time came for the biggest fashion show of the year. Madame Vera told Andre, "Tonight, I will tell the world that you are the main partner of my company. We will be together forever." She was very happy because she thought she had won. She even bought him a diamond ring to wear. At the same time, Lola was waiting backstage, hoping to trick Andre into giving him one more chance. Both women thought they knew what Andre was going to do. Andre walked onto the stage. The lights were very bright and thousands of people were clapping. Madame Vera stood on one side with a proud smile. Lola watched from the shadows, waiting to run to him. Andre took the microphone. The room went quiet. Everyone expected him to thank Madame Vera and say he was her partner. But Andre didn't look at the boss and he didn't look at his old girlfriend. He looked at the crowd and said, "I want to thank the man who used to clean the floors of this building. He taught me that hard work is important, but being free is better." Madame Vera's smile began to disappear. She whispered, "Andre, what are you doing? Stick to the plan." But Andre was done with her plans. He had a different plan, a plan he had been working on in secret for months. Andre pulled a small paper out of his pocket. It was not a contract for Madame Vera's company. It was the license for his own new brand. He told the crowd, "Today I am starting my own path. I am not a janitor and I am not a toy. I am my own boss." The people went wild. They loved his courage. Madame Vera was frozen in shock. She had spent all that money to buy him, but he had used his fame to become her biggest competitor. Lola ran out from the curtains, trying to grab his arm and say, "We did it, Andre. We are rich." But Andre gently moved her hand away. He looked at her and said, "No, Lola. I did this, and I did it without your greed or your lies." He turned to Madame Vera and said, "Thank you for the clothes, but I prefer to walk in my own shoes." He walked off the stage, leaving both women standing there with nothing but their pride. He walked out of the building and into the cool night air. He didn't take the fast car Madame Vera bought him. He didn't go back to the apartment Lola was waiting in. He walked down the street like a normal man, but with a smile that was worth more than gold. He was finally his own man, and he didn't need a queen to tell him he was a king. Many months later, a new shop opened in the center of the city. It was the most popular shop in the world. The man running it was Andre. He was successful, happy, and kind to everyone who worked for him. One day, a woman walked in. She was wearing old clothes and looked very tired. It was Madame Vera. She had lost her company because she was too mean to her workers. She looked at Andre, hoping he would help her. At the same time, Lola was watching through the window, hoping to come inside and ask for money. Both women were waiting for Andre to choose one of them. Andre walked to the door. He looked at the boss who tried to buy him, and he looked at the girlfriend who tried to sell him. The crowd outside held their breath. Would he forgive them? Would he take one of them back now that he was the most powerful man in the city? Andre did not look back at the life he left behind. He used his success to help other workers who were treated badly by their bosses. He found a new kind of happiness that had nothing to do with expensive watches or designer suits. He proved to the whole city that a man's value is not measured by the money in his pocket, but by the kindness in his soul. Lola and Madame Vera eventually disappeared from the city, ashamed of how they treated a good man. They learned too late that greed only leads to a lonely life. Andre remained a humble and successful man who owned his life and his heart. He was no longer a servant to anyone's money. The story of the mop and the suit was finished. There were no more secrets to tell and no more lessons to learn. Andre had won the greatest prize of all, his freedom. As the sun set over his shop, he smiled, knowing that he had stayed true to himself. This was the final chapter of his journey, and he lived the rest of his days in peace.